Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, we're very happy you're listening with us today.
Yes, welcome. This channel is designed to help you learn English by listening to natural conversations. So instead of studying complicated grammar rules, you can simply relax and listen.
Exactly. Think of this like sitting with two friends and listening to their conversation. The more you listen, the more comfortable English will feel.
And if you want to improve even faster, try shadowing. That means you listen to a sentence and repeat it out loud right after you hear it.
It might feel a little strange at first.
Especially if someone walks into the room while you're talking to your phone.
Yes, they might think you're having a very serious conversation with your headphones. But don't worry, shadowing is one of the best ways to improve pronunciation, confidence, and fluency.
So, try listening once, then listen again and repeat the sentences. Your English will improve step by step.
And before we start today's conversation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy learning English with us.
Your support helps us make more conversations like this for English learners around the world.
All right, today we have a very common topic, something people talk about all the time.
Yes, a question people ask every Monday morning.
That's right. Today we're talking about the weekend.
Specifically, what people do during their weekend.
Because one of the most common conversations in English is asking someone,
So, what did you do this weekend?
exactly. It's a very simple question, but it can lead to many interesting conversations.
People talk about relaxing, going out, watching movies, visiting friends, doing sports, or sometimes doing absolutely nothing.
Honestly, doing nothing can be the best weekend plan.
I agree. Sometimes the best weekend activity is sleeping.
Ah, yes, the classic weekend hobby, professional sleeping. All right, let's start our conversation. Imagine two friends meeting after the weekend.
Maybe on Monday morning, maybe at a cafe, maybe at work.
And one of them asks the famous question.
The weekend question.
Here we go. So Jane, how was your weekend?
It was actually really nice, very relaxing. What about you?
Mine was pretty good too. I didn't do anything very exciting, but it was enjoyable.
Sometimes those are the best weekends. What did you do?
On Saturday morning, I slept a little longer than usual.
Ah, yes, the luxury of weekend sleep.
Exactly. During the week, I wake up early, so on Saturday, I like to sleep in.
Same here. It feels amazing to wake up naturally without an alarm clock.
Yes, no alarm, no rush, just a peaceful morning.
What time did you wake up?
Around 9 in the morning.
That's not too late.
True, I used to sleep until 11 on weekends when I was younger.
11? That's impressive.
I was very talented at sleeping.
Clearly.
What about you? Did you sleep in this weekend?
A little bit. I woke up around 8:30.
That's still earlier than me.
Yes, but I enjoy mornings. I like starting the day slowly.
What do you usually do on a relaxed morning?
First, I make a cup of coffee.
Good start.
Then I sit by the window and just enjoy the quiet moment.
That sounds peaceful.
Sometimes I read a book. Sometimes I listen to music.
That sounds like a perfect way to start the weekend.
It really is. What did you do after waking up?
After I woke up, I made breakfast.
What did you make?
Something simple, eggs and toast.
Classic breakfast.
Yes, and coffee, of course.
Coffee is essential.
Always.
Did you go out on Saturday or stay home?
In the afternoon, I went for a walk in the park.
Oh, nice. Was the weather good?
Yes, it was sunny, but not too hot. Perfect walking weather.
That sounds lovely. Parks are great on weekends.
They really are. Lots of people were there. Families, couples, people walking their dogs.
Dogs always make parks more fun.
Definitely. I saw a very small dog trying to chase a much bigger dog.
That sounds funny.
The small dog was very confident.
Sometimes the smallest dogs act like they are the biggest.
Exactly. This little dog was acting like the king of the park. Meanwhile, the big dog looked very confused.
I can imagine.
It was a funny moment.
I love observing little moments like that.
Me too. It makes a simple walk more interesting.
Did you walk for a long time?
About an hour.
That's a good walk.
Yes, and after that I felt very relaxed.
Did you do anything else on Saturday?
In the evening, I watched a movie at home.
Nice. What movie did you watch?
It was a comedy, something light and funny.
Perfect for a weekend evening.
Exactly. I didn't want to watch anything too serious.
Sometimes we just want to relax and laugh.
Yes, and this movie had some really funny scenes.
Did you watch it alone?
Yes, just me and a bowl of popcorn.
That's a good movie setup.
Absolutely. What about your Saturday? Did you do anything interesting?
Actually, yes. I met a friend for lunch.
Oh, nice. Where did you go?
We went to a small restaurant in the city center.
Was the food good?
Very good. I had pasta and my friend had a salad.
That sounds delicious.
It was, but the best part was the conversation.
Good conversations always make meals better.
Exactly. We talked for almost 2 hours.
2 hours? That's a long lunch.
Yes, but it didn't feel long. Time passed very quickly.
That happens when the conversation is good.
Definitely.
What did you talk about?
Oh, many things. Work, travel, funny memories from school.
That sounds fun.
At one point, we started remembering embarrassing moments from our teenage years.
Uh-oh, those are always dangerous topics.
Very dangerous.
Did you laugh a lot?
A lot. Some of those stories were very embarrassing.
Now I'm curious.
Maybe I'll tell you one later.
I'm looking forward to that. So, after lunch, what did you do?
After lunch, we walked around the city for a while.
Just exploring?
Yes, just walking and talking.
That's one of the best simple activities.
I agree. You don't need a complicated plan to have a good day.
Exactly. Sometimes the simplest days are the most enjoyable.
Very true.
Did you do anything on Saturday evening?
Actually, I stayed home in the evening.
Relaxing evening?
Yes, I watched a few episodes of a TV series.
Ah, the famous just one more episode situation.
Exactly. I planned to watch one episode.
And then?
Suddenly, I had watched 3 episodes.
That happens to everyone.
Streaming services are dangerous.
Very dangerous. They always say, next episode starts in 5 seconds.
And you think, okay, just one more.
Then suddenly, it's midnight.
Exactly.
I think weekends are the only time when that is acceptable.
True. During the week, it's harder because we need to wake up early.
But on the weekend, we have more freedom.
Exactly.
Speaking of freedom, what did you do on Sunday?
Sunday was a slower day for me.
Slow Sundays are the best Sundays.
I agree. I started the morning with a long breakfast.
Long breakfasts are wonderful.
Yes, I made pancakes.
Pancakes? Now I'm jealous.
They were very good.
Did you put anything on them?
Honey and some fresh fruit.
That sounds amazing.
It was a great way to start the day.
I think pancakes automatically make any morning better.
I think so too.
After pancakes, what happened next?
Well, that's when something funny happened.
Oh, I love funny weekend stories.
So I decided to try a new recipe for pancakes, something with chocolate chips and banana slices.
Wow, ambitious.
Yes, very ambitious. I thought it would be simple, but then I realized I had forgotten to buy eggs.
Classic.
So I had to improvise. I used yogurt instead of eggs.
Did it work?
Surprisingly, yes. The pancakes were interesting.
Interesting. That's polite English for kinda weird.
Maybe a little. The texture was different, but the taste was still good.
I love it. That's what weekends are for, experimenting in the kitchen.
Exactly. After pancakes, I spent some time reading a book.
Nice. What book?
A light novel, something funny and easy to read.
Perfect weekend reading.
Yes, and I also listened to some music while reading.
That sounds very relaxing.
It was. Then in the afternoon, I decided to go for a short walk outside.
Good idea. Fresh air is always nice.
Exactly. It was sunny, but not too hot. Very comfortable.
And did you see anything interesting on your walk?
Actually, yes. There was a dog show happening in the park.
No way.
Yes, puppies everywhere. Small dogs, big dogs, funny dogs.
Sounds like heaven.
It really was. People were training their dogs, and some dogs were just being silly.
I love dogs doing silly things.
Me too. One dog was chasing its own tail for about 5 minutes straight.
Classic.
And some dogs were playing together, running around and rolling on the grass.
Sounds like a perfect Sunday afternoon.
It really was. I stayed in the park for a while, just watching the dogs and enjoying the weather.
Did you take pictures?
Of course, how could I resist?
Smart choice. Those memories are precious.
Exactly. After the park, I went home and made a light snack.
Something healthy, I hope?
Well, partly healthy. I made a smoothie.
That counts.
Yes, with banana, spinach, and a little honey.
Sounds delicious.
It was, and I drank it while planning my next week.
Very productive Sunday.
Yes, but also very relaxing. That's the key.
Balance is everything.
Exactly.
So it sounds like your weekend was a mix of fun, relaxation, and a little adventure.
Yes, I think that's the perfect weekend combo.
I agree. Now let's talk about the last part of my weekend.
Yes, I want to hear about yours.
On Sunday, I actually met a friend for brunch.
Nice. Where did you go?
We went to a small cafe near the river. Very cozy.
That sounds lovely.
It was. I had a sandwich and coffee. My friend had a salad.
Good choice.
Yes, and we spent over an hour talking.
About what?
Oh, many things. Plans for the summer, funny work stories, and travel ideas.
That sounds fun.
Yes, and we also ended up laughing a lot at old memories.
Laughter makes the weekend even better.
Definitely. At one point, a bird flew too close to our table and stole some crumbs from my sandwich.
That's hilarious.
It was. My friend and I were both shocked and laughing at the same time.
Birds are bold sometimes.
Very bold. After brunch, we went for a short walk along the river.
Sounds like a perfect Sunday afternoon.
Yes, it was calm, sunny, and peaceful.
Did you take pictures too?
Of course, it's a weekend memory, so why not?
Smart.
After that, I came home and just relaxed.
Did you watch TV or read?
A little bit of both. I watched a comedy show and read a few pages from a book.
Nice. It's always good to mix entertainment and reading.
Yes, and then I prepared a simple dinner and called it a day.
That sounds like a very well-balanced weekend.
I think so too. You know, listening to our weekend stories, it's easy to notice how much we do in 2 days.
True. Weekends might be short, but they can be full of experiences.
Exactly. And these small activities like walking, meeting friends, or cooking are perfect for practicing everyday English conversations.
Yes, talking about your weekend is one of the most common things people ask in English.
And it's a great way to practice past tense.
True. I went, I saw, I did, all past tense verbs.
And using small details makes your conversations more interesting.
Like mentioning the birds stealing crumbs. Yes, little details make conversations natural.
So, if you're listening, try telling someone about your weekend in English.
Or even try to shadow our conversation. Repeat after us.
It's okay if you make mistakes. That's part of learning.
Definitely. Practice makes perfect.
And remember, the more you listen, the easier English becomes.
And the more you repeat, the more confident you get.
Exactly. Well, I think we've talked enough about weekends, but honestly, we could go on forever.
We really could.
There are so many things to share about simple weekend activities.
Visiting parks, watching movies, cooking, the list goes on.
Yes, and funny stories always make it better.
Like birds stealing food, small dogs chasing big dogs.
Yes, those little details are the best.
So, dear listeners, keep listening, keep practicing, and imagine yourself having these conversations with friends.
That's the key. Everyday English is everywhere around you.
And you can start using it today.
All right, shall we continue with more weekend stories?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let's keep going. So, let's talk about Sunday evening. What did you do after your walk, Jane?
Oh, Sunday evening was interesting. I decided to try baking cookies.
Baking cookies? That sounds fun and possibly dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous for my waistline.
I can imagine. Were these chocolate chip cookies?
Yes, but with a twist. I added a little cinnamon and some nuts.
That sounds fancy.
I know, I was feeling creative.
Did they turn out okay?
Well, they were edible.
That's the most important part.
Exactly. I gave some to my neighbor, too.
Sharing is always a good idea.
Yes, but I think I ate at least half of them myself.
That's the classic, I baked cookies for everyone, but I ate them all story.
Guilty as charged.
Don't worry, that's a very common weekend story.
True. So after cookies, I decided to relax with some music.
Nice. What did you listen to?
Some jazz and a little classical.
Perfect way to wind down the weekend.
Yes, very calming.
And I bet it made the apartment smell amazing with fresh cookies, too.
Absolutely. It was a cozy Sunday.
Sounds like we both had very enjoyable weekends.
Yes, but slightly different styles.
True, yours was creative and relaxing. Mine was social and adventurous.
Both perfectly valid ways to spend a weekend.
I think listeners can take ideas from both.
Yes, they could bake cookies, go for a walk, meet friends, or just watch movies.
And remember, describing your weekend in English is a great way to practice past tense verbs.
Yes, words like went, saw, ate, met, made, these are all very common verbs you can use.
Exactly, and adding small details makes your conversation more natural.
Like mentioning the cinnamon in the cookies or the birds stealing crumbs.
Yes, those little details make English feel alive.
And your weekend story is probably full of those small moments too.
Definitely. I think even simple activities become interesting when you add feelings, reactions, or funny moments.
That's why everyday conversation is so fun to practice.
Speaking of fun, do you remember the last time we had a really rainy weekend?
Oh, yes, that was chaotic and hilarious.
Yes, we got completely soaked trying to go to the cafe.
We looked like two wet chickens walking down the street.
Perfect description.
And the cafe was packed with other people escaping the rain.
Yes, everyone sharing tables, laughing, and talking about how drenched they got.
That's one of my favorite memories because of the human connection.
Absolutely, and weekends like that give us lots of funny English sentences to practice.
Like, I got soaked, or I forgot my umbrella.
And the cafe was packed, so we shared a table with strangers.
Perfect examples.
So, listeners, when you talk about your weekend, try to add small details like weather, food, people, or funny incidents.
That makes your English much more natural and interesting.
And don't worry if it's short. Even 2 or 3 sentences are fine.
Yes, you can start with, I woke up late, had pancakes, and went for a walk.
Then expand, I met a friend, we had brunch, and we laughed about old memories.
And maybe add, a bird stole some crumbs from my sandwich.
Exactly. That's storytelling in English.
And practicing these sentences will improve both listening and speaking skills.
Yes, when you listen to natural conversations, your brain starts to understand English rhythm, pronunciation, and common expressions.
And when you repeat or shadow, your speaking becomes much more confident.
That's why we always encourage listeners to listen, repeat, and enjoy the process.
Learning English should feel like a fun conversation, not a boring textbook exercise.
Absolutely, and weekends are a perfect topic because everyone can relate.
You can talk about food, activities, friends, travel, funny moments, or even lazy days.
And don't forget, even doing nothing can be a story.
True. I stayed in bed and watched TV all day.
Perfect. That's a valid weekend story.
And now, for some inspiration, we can give a few more examples of things people might do on weekends.
Yes, let's brainstorm.
Okay, visiting a park or beach,
Going shopping or grocery shopping,
watching movies or series,
cooking or baking something new,
playing games or sports,
reading books or listening to music,
meeting friends for brunch or coffee,
taking a short trip out of town,
doing small DIY projects at home.
practicing hobbies like painting, photography, or gardening.
And don't forget, sleeping in and relaxing.
Very important activity.
All of these activities are great for English practice.
Exactly. You can describe each activity in detail, what you did, how you felt, what was funny, or what was challenging.
Like, I tried a new recipe. It was delicious, but I burned a cookie.
Perfect example.
Or, I went for a walk in the park. I saw a dog chasing a bigger dog.
That never gets old.
Yes, it's relatable and funny.
So, listeners, maybe after this episode, try telling your weekend story in English, even if it's simple.
And remember, you can practice shadowing while listening to us.
Listen once, then listen again, and repeat what we say.
Your English pronunciation and confidence will improve faster than you expect.
And it's much more fun than just memorizing vocabulary.
Yes, conversation-based learning is always more effective.
And the best part is, you can do this anytime.
On a bus, at home, or while having coffee, just listen and repeat.
Exactly. Even 5 minutes a day will make a difference.
And soon, you'll find yourself telling your weekend story naturally to your friends or coworkers.
That's the goal. Real English for real life.
And fun English for a fun life.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, should we continue sharing a few more funny or interesting weekend experiences?
Definitely. There are always more stories.
Perfect. Let's keep going.
So, Sunday afternoon, I decided to try something a little different. I went to a small farmer's market nearby.
Oh, I love those. Did you buy anything interesting?
Yes, I bought fresh strawberries, some cheese, and a small loaf of bread.
That sounds delicious. Did you try the cheese there?
I did. It was amazing. Soft, creamy, and perfect for a little picnic at home later.
Jesse and his food adventures.
Guilty as charged. Food makes everything better.
Absolutely.
While I was at the market, I saw a little boy trying to convince his parents to buy a giant watermelon.
Oh no, how did that go?
The parents were like, "We already have enough fruit at home," and the boy dramatically said, "But it's huge. Everyone will see it."
That's adorable. Kids are always funny.
Exactly. I couldn't stop laughing.
I love hearing little stories like that. It makes everyday life more interesting.
Definitely. And the best part? It's easy to tell in English. You just describe what happened, who was involved, and what made it funny.
Yes, like a little boy tried to buy a giant watermelon. His parents said no, and he looked very sad.
Perfect example. And you can add feelings. He looked very disappointed, but I smiled watching him.
Small details make your English much more natural.
Totally. Okay, what about another weekend moment?
Saturday evening, I tried a new hobby. I decided to paint a little canvas.
Oh, nice. How did it go?
Honestly, it was a disaster at first. I spilled some paint on the table and almost ruined my shirt.
That's hilarious.
But eventually, I finished the painting. It wasn't perfect, but I was proud of it.
That's the spirit. Weekend hobbies are all about having fun, not perfection.
Exactly. And the funny mistakes make good stories to tell in English.
Yes, you could say, "I spilled paint on my shirt, but I finished my painting anyway."
Perfect. That's exactly how you practice storytelling.
Speaking of storytelling, Sunday night I had a small movie marathon.
Ooh, which movies?
Comedy classics, old movies that always make me laugh.
Nice. Did you watch them alone or with someone?
Alone, but with popcorn, of course.
That's essential.
Always. I think weekends are the only time when eating popcorn for dinner is acceptable.
Absolutely.
And the funny part? I kept laughing so much that I spilled some popcorn on my lap.
Classic Jesse move.
What can I say? Comedy is dangerous sometimes.
It really is. So, listeners, do you see a pattern here?
Yes, weekends are full of little moments, funny events, relaxing activities, and opportunities to tell stories.
Exactly. And all these moments give you great material to practice English conversation.
You can start simple. I woke up late, I made breakfast, I went for a walk.
Then expand. I saw a little boy trying to buy a giant watermelon. It was so funny.
And don't forget feelings. I felt very happy and relaxed watching the market.
The more you practice, the more natural your English will become.
And remember, shadowing is your secret weapon.
Listen, pause, repeat. Say the sentences out loud.
Don't worry if you make mistakes. Every time you repeat, you improve.
That's right. And don't forget to have fun while learning.
Learning English should be like a weekend, enjoyable, relaxed, and full of small adventures.
Perfect analogy.
So, dear listeners, we hope today's conversation about weekends gave you lots of new expressions, vocabulary, and ideas for telling your own stories in English.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, your support helps us make more English conversations for you.
And share this with your friends who are learning English. Listening together makes it more fun.
Absolutely. And remember, practice a little every day. Even short conversations about your weekend, your day, or your hobbies will improve your English.
So thank you for listening today.
Keep listening, keep shadowing, and keep enjoying English.
And most importantly, have fun learning.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.